Hello, and welcome to another episode of Industry Celebrities. My name is Kimberly Scott. Industry Celebrities is a podcast where I interview industry professionals in any industry and ask them questions about their industry or passion. Plus, my guests share a little advice to their younger self. If you want to tune in to other episodes, you can do so by going to thatkimberly.com/combo to choose which platform you prefer to listen to, whether it's iTunes, Spotify, Google, YouTube, and coming soon, Amazon Alexa. So now that I have that out of the way, I'd like to introduce today's guest, Pinaki, who is in the startup industry. Hi, Pinaki.
Hi, Kimberly. Thank you so much for inviting me to your podcast. I really appreciate this.
Well, thank you for being on. So tell my listeners a little bit how you're helping startups in today's age of the startup world.
Absolutely. My pleasure. My name is Pinaki Saha. I am based in Chicago, but I travel all across the country. And I have been in corporate for many years. And in 2010, when I left my corporate, I decided to come into the whole venture and startups and build my own fortune, if you say so. But the idea was that to change my way of looking at things and completely have the freedom of choice to build things around and make things happen. So in the process of my last 9 years worth of journey, I have come across innumerable startups who I helped build their first prototype and products and market strategy and all those, and have learned so much over all these years from their failures and even few wins that I felt the urge to give it back to the community, because that wisdom or the knowledge or information that you collect, it's of no value if you're not give it back or glean through it and provide some direction to the people who are coming on board.
Sharing is caring. So
Absolutely.
So you worked in corporate America, saw how corporate America, functioned. You have your degree in, I believe, nuclear physics, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty far away from that now, but yeah, you're right.
but that's a great start to see how everything works, to be able to bring it full circle, to be able to help startups and help them go down that journey of the startup world, because we all know if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's not easy. So
no, it is not, because it's just not it's not about the toughness of building it, but it's also how strong you are about your mind and your mentality and your sentiments and emotions, because it's not a journey that is for the weak of the heart. Because
correct.
You have to position yourself and have the strength to do it. Yeah.
Yes. And surround yourself with others that will help lift you up on the days you don't want to get up.
Yep. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So what was your very first startup that you worked with?
Yes. So the first idea was in 2008 while I was in Chase, and I was kind of moonlighting with that idea, and it was about video streaming. And the idea was that when you watch content on a video player online, there are a lot of product placements that happen in the content. You might see a Rolex watch. You might see a Lamborghini driving, the protagonist is driving a big car and all that stuff. And a lot of people think, where's this place? What is that car? What food is he eating? And what is the train ride? Where is he heading to? How do I get there? So what we thought is that, how about putting that metadata right next to that content? So when you are seeking that information, you can see it right on the right-hand side of the video. And you can click on it to go and purchase that watch, or find a vendor where you can purchase a book, or reserve your hotel in that location in Expedia. So we tried to tag that element along with that content. And on the back side, we asked the producer to put that product placement information on the timeline. So what we did is that we took that ownership of that content and the product placement information from the timeline on ourselves, and we embed that content and put a player kind of encapsulator on top of the actual player, so that you can see that layered information while you're browsing or watching that content. So that was the first product, called Kneebox Media, and you'll find that on my LinkedIn profile. But yeah, that was my first one in 2010.
And you went and you raised money. What was it like to go out? And now you help startups raise money. So what do you think the biggest challenges are for entrepreneurs when they're going to go raise money?
Again, people often think that raising money is a very difficult job, because you are asking for someone's money. And it's completely at the discretion of the giver, that he might think it's good or bad. I'm not going to pay for it. I'm going to invest. But it's not true. It's a lot to do with ourselves, entrepreneurs and founders, how we feel that money will provide the value. Money is not a luxury. It's not that you will take that money and buy a Ferrari on the side. The money is a resource, just the way you need resources like steel and oil and gasoline. And you have to be absolutely clear and have the clarity to understand that what would you do with that money? It's not about the money. I need $1,000,000. I need 500,000 or even 150,000 or even family and friends round of 50 grand.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with that money? Do you have enough clarity to understand that how you use that proceed towards what you want to accomplish over the next 90 days, 120 days ahead, right? So that mindset, that confidence from that clarity is critical, and investors look for that.
Oh
Because,
yeah.
you know,
They
it is
they
that
do.
what it is.
Yeah, people invest in people. Have a great idea. You have to know and answer all the questions. I did learn that. You
Mhm.
can't, Shark Tank is a great example of watching. I tell people go watch Shark Tank and see the companies that they do and they don't invest in, but when they can't answer the question and they don't have a clear mindset of how they're going to spend the money and they don't
Correct.
have a plan, then they don't get the money. People don't invest in them. Would you not agree?
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's what happens most of the failures, because when you stand in front of the investor, first of all, your body language will reflect that. No
Oh
matter
yeah.
how much you try to hide it, you can't hide it. And it also even happens, let's say you have a 10 slide deck, right? You're putting in front of the investor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. It's a very interesting story, because if you look at all the 10 slides, you will find that you have strengths in explaining in 5 of those 10 slides or 7 of the 10 slides, and you are weak in 1 or 2 of them. You just put it up there because you have to put it up there.
Yeah.
It is a reflection of your thought process and your knowledge and your confidence. And most of the people, when it comes to the money slide, that where's the revenue, how much you're going to spend, how much you're going to make money, everybody shakes around a bit. It's almost like a trembling a bit. I don't know if they ask me this question. If you ask them about the product, they'll be all over. You ask them about their customer, they might be all over. But as soon as you ask them, when you get the money slide and ask them how you're going to use it, how are you going to invest in the marketing, how are you going to invest to acquire your customers, you know, your cost of acquisition, all that stuff, people, yeah, I know. So that's why do your homework, do all the research, make it bullet points, write it on a whiteboard, go through again and again, ask others to shoot questions at you,
Mm-hmm.
train yourself, rehearse, and then go in front of them.
And if you don't know the answer, you say, I do not know, but I will get back to you on that. I did learn that.
Absolutely.
Don't lie, but do not waver from your clarity of, you know what? Great question that I had not run through or not thought about, but I will get you that answer, because they can tell right away. That's like a pivotal moment.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think.
And a lot of these startup founders I have talked to, what majority of them I have seen is that founders in general, the very seed stage, they don't let on. They are scared of something. They don't have the confidence to let it on, that they know a lot more than they project. It's always like that. And I provide that guidance. I provide that confidence that, no, you know a lot more than you're letting on.
Mm-hmm.
So have that confidence to say, if they ask you the question and you don't find an answer, you are absolutely okay to explore with them. Of course, if they have the time, but you can definitely ask some questions back that, are you looking for this? Get the right questions so that you can find the right answers.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you enjoy most about working with startups?
Meeting with people. I'm telling you, it's the best thing that can happen in my life. That is meeting with people with incredible energy and passion and ideas. Now, of course, it's a funnel. You'll meet with 100 people, 20 of them will strike out really well, and the remaining 10 will stick on, and then finally 5 will be really doing something. It's just that way humans move through process of milestones and landmarks. But my goal is to meet, it has been always for the last 2 years, is that meet 2 new people every week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, at least talk to 2 new people who I have never known, complete strangers, every week.
Yeah.
And that could be on LinkedIn, that could be on Skype, that could be WhatsApp, or whatever the communication. They could be in South Korea, they could be in India, they could be in Vietnam, they could be in US. The point is, I want to understand and learn about 2 new perspectives every week.
Yeah. And then take it from there.
And take it from there. Yeah.
Because when you're meeting those people, I did find in my search journey that there are people who take action and then there are people who don't take action. Because I'm a person of take the action, I gravitate towards the ones that take action, and they fall through that funnel. Like definitely, like, when I was younger and I met somebody who was potentially wanting to invest, like the next morning, like within less than 12 hours, I was emailing them. I was told that I was nicely aggressive or something like that.
Yeah. But you always need to have the follow-up. Without the
follow-up. Without the follow-up, there's nothing. And investors see that if you're not going to follow up and execute, then you're not going to do well with their money. So
absolutely.
it's definitely a tell sign. So how about my other standing question for this podcast, because there are so many questions that you and I could go through
Sure, of
that we
course.
might have to make a separate episode
Yeah,
on startups. But what would you tell your younger self is my
interesting.
standing question for this podcast. What would you tell
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I came to this country 20 years back. When I came in, I was 23 years old, and now you
Mhm.
know my age. So, but what I learned is that at that time, I did a lot of things that I wouldn't do now, and I procrastinated. I just wasted time. I would like to kind of move around, go things, think about ideas, but don't take action. Taking action was the last thing I would do. I just keep on thinking and wasting time. So I always tell my younger self that do not waste the time. Time is not a wastable commodity. It is
Right.
a very, very critical element for your growth, personal development, and success altogether, but
Yes.
is also a non-renewable resource. It's a forward-moving resource. If you waste it, you'll never get it back.
Yeah, you never get it back.
You
Absolutely.
lose
Time
your
is money.
money.
Never
Yep,
get
you
it
can
back.
get your money back.
Yeah.
And as Warren Buffett says, and a lot of smart people say, is that time, be very, very judicious about how you spend it, how you use it.
Yes, absolutely. That is great advice to your younger self. Take action and don't waste any time, because you can't ever get that time back.
Right.
Or
And people tend to do that. I mean, it's natural. It's very natural. You haven't seen the world, you don't have the experience, you don't know the value of time because you're just coming fresh out of the boat and you're trying to do something. But I would suggest that at that time, seek advice, look for
Mhm.
mentors, look for successful people or who have done it right, and be around them, and you will
Yes.
find the right direction, the right vision, that how to use time intelligently, smartly.
Yes. And delegate.
Oh, now that's a skill, and you can have a whole podcast by
Yes,
telling me all that.
absolutely. Absolutely. You
Yeah.
can, for sure. So tell the listeners how they can get a hold of you if they want to connect with you and discuss more about what, your company and the startups you're working with.
Sure, absolutely. I'm an open book on LinkedIn. I use multiple platforms, but LinkedIn is my platform of choice. You can look me up. My first name, P as a Peter, Inaki, and last name Saha, Saha. I'm based in Chicago. You can also reach me on YouTube. I have a channel. You can look me up by that name as well. And just shoot me a direct message on LinkedIn, and we can exchange emails, and then we can pursue conversation.
Awesome. You're doing great things, and I really appreciate your time. I wish there was someone like you 15 years ago when I started.
Well, I feel if there was someone like me 15 years ago for myself.
Well, good for you for giving back, because that's what it takes. It's definitely
Thank you. I appreciate
sharing
it.
is caring, and I do appreciate your time and being on Industry Celebrities today. And thank you to my listener. My listener base is growing. I'm very excited about that. And thank you again. Remember to hit the subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening to me on, whether it's YouTube, iTunes, Anchor. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn, Instagram, and coming soon, Alexa. Yay. So until next week, stay positive and keep growing. Thank you.
Thank you.